right now about Donald Trump and his refusal to debate Kamala Harris at the ABC debate that was already agreed to on September 10th. Now, he agreed to this debate months ago with Joe Biden. Obviously, Kamala Harris is now going to be the Democratic nominee, too.
Put it this way. I know there's a debate inside Republican circles about whether a debate's a good idea for Donald Trump. You know, there's a lot of folks who think this debate could just be a disaster for him, that he won't know how to handle the moment.
I think Donald Trump is scared to death to debate Kamala Harris, and so is his campaign. They know that Kamala Harris is a better debater than Donald Trump, and they're worried because she's a prosecutor. He is ill-prepared to be challenged by not only a woman, but a woman of color.
Well, Kamala Harris calling him out. She calling him out. He goes on TV the other day and talks his talk about Kamala Harris. And she like, let's get it on. Let's debate. Ain't nobody running. Nobody's scared. All of a sudden, he got nervous. Why could that be? Could it be because of Roe v. Wade? Could it be because you're not that sure those women out there going to come and support you? Could it be because that bipartisan border bill that would have resolved some of these immigrant issues crossing the border got your fingerprints all over it just as much as you want to say her fingerprints were on it because she was the quote-unquote border czar, even though people are saying she wasn't the border czar? But she was, because she was in charge of it. So you don't have to call her the czar, but she was in charge of that issue. Fair enough. But the bottom line is, Donald Trump got in the way of that.
Are you specifically preparing for the debate versus Harris?
I'm not spending a lot of time on it.
I don't know. Somewhere along the line it happened, and all of a sudden, you know, this is not unique. This is a very common story, unfortunately. But and then the family would see it and start to notice it, and it didn't get better. It didn't get better. I was amazed. You know, he lived for so long in bad conditions, you know, in terms of, I was amazed that his body could hold out. It held out, and it had bad moments, but his body was unbelievably strong that it could withstand it.
I'm sorry to ask you about it. Is it all right?
Yeah, no. It's well, you know, the reason it's good talking about it is it might help other people. If it helps one other person, it's worth the conversation.
Yeah, like what's something that you miss about him, Fred?
Well, he was wise in a sense. I mean, think of it. He's got this problem, and it was very important for him to convey to me not to have this problem. And I think maybe I'm a personality type where I could have had the problem. He'd tell me every time, I said, don't have a drink, because he knew he had this addiction. And my brother was incredible. He would tell me, because he knew he had a problem, and he'd say, don't ever drink, don't ever smoke. He'd always add smoking, because he did smoke a lot. You know, the interesting thing is, and I tell people, so I never had a cigarette, and I've never had a glass of alcohol. Never, ever did I have a glass of alcohol because of him. But I think in those days, I don't think were drugs a factor. You go back 25 years ago.
Not like it is now.
Well, certainly not like now.
Alcoholism and addiction is something that's really ramped up, even like you're saying, like in the past 20, 30 years in our country, right? Like, what do you think are things that you can do to help curtail that when you get into office?
We had committees, blue ribbon committees in certain cases, but committees. The big problem we have is, you know, fentanyl is probably the biggest. Opioids bad too.
All of that is horrible. But
how
why do we allow that?
How did you get addicted? How did?
No, I would just do cocaine. That was really, So not just,
That's down and dirty, right?
Yeah, and this. I mean, it was.
But you don't anymore?
No, I don't do it anymore, man, and I'm not doing it.
Is it too much? Too much to handle?
Some of the stuff started to get a real rattle in it too. I don't know where we were even getting it from in this country, but yeah, it started to make me feel like I was a mechanic or something.
So the thing you go back to then is alcohol for the most part.
Right, yeah, but what I want probably is cocaine, but I know that if I have a drink, then it'll be like, okay, well, I had a drink, then I can do this.
Is cocaine a stronger up?
Yeah. Cocaine
so you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
Cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You'll be out on your own porch, you know, and you'll be your own street lamp. You're freaking.
And is that a good feeling? Well,
no,
it's
horrible.
A miserable feeling.
But you do it anyway, just like the guy you're saying with the scotch.
Which is a bigger problem in our country, would you say?
Opioids.
Bigger than alcohol?
Oh, for sure. I think that's one of the biggest problems.
And compare that to fentanyl?
Oh yeah, well that's the problem is people are making fake opioids because they can't afford real ones, or they're just getting them off the street and then they put fentanyl in them.
Yeah. Fentanyl's like laced into everything now. It's horrible.